good, everybody? We are back with some Arknights Endfield discussions today, and I have brought with me 3 of the best Arknights Endfield LARPers that exist in the space. Okay, that's it. That's it. All of it is LARP 6, 7. Oh, okay. We've got the lovely Amethyst Abrams. We have the man from Japan, Mr. Ryuku Sensei, and then we have Connor's thoughts. A lot of thoughts going on in that brain. There we go. Hello, everybody. How is everyone feeling? Are we all good?
Good.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar. Ryuku, how you feeling?
Yes.
Oh, I feel great.
Thumbs up. Great. Oh, this is great. Lively. Lively fun. So good. So today we're going to be...
called us LARPers. I'm tempted to leave.
I'm not a LARPer, okay? I'm a real gamer. I'm a real gamer of gotchas.
I'm a day one Arknights Endfield player. You know, game before gotcha and all that shit.
Game first.
I'm a day one LARPer.
We're day one LARPers. Awesome. Today we're going to be talking about Arknights Endfield 1.4, the patch that came out, I think, like just over a week ago now at this point, and the waves that it's kind of been making online. Because I'm going to be real, guys. I've seen a lot of people, especially like on places like Twitter. I know Twitter's a bit of a cesspit, or x.com, but I've seen a lot of people actually coming out with opinions after playing through the story. They're now having differing opinions of Arknights Endfield than they did at the beginning. The story seems to be winning some people over, which is particularly kind of exciting. So I want to go forward and ask you guys how you all feel. Just a general like score, like out of 10. General, we'll get into the nitty gritty, but how do you feel that this 1.4 story has come across to you this patch? Start with you, Amethyst. Out of 10.
I gave this one a 9. I gave
A
1.2. I gave 1.2 a 10. This one a 9.
How actually? I'm curious. How would you rate all the other patches so far? Actually, let's do. How do you rate each of the patches so far?
1.0. I was in the minority of liking it, so and I gave that an 8. 1.1 was dog shit, and I never want to replay that again. I think the stockade missions were absolutely terrible.
Okay.
I think
Doggy doo doo.
Doggy doo doo. I think 1.2 was still, in my opinion, the best story patch, and then 1.3 was kind of like it was designed to be filler to set up 1.4.
There wasn't really main story with 1.3.
It was just character quests, which I'm not going to rate because it's their character quests. But then this one, 1.4, I thoroughly enjoyed, though it was a lot longer than 1.2. I still enjoyed the lore drops. I enjoyed Ardagir aura farming in the cell, and I enjoyed the overarching plot of where we were going and where we could be heading in the future.
100%. Okay, awesome. Connor, how would you rate every patch so far in Arknights Endfield?
I am also in the minority where like I've played it since 1.0 and stuck with the game pretty much the whole time. Have like well over 200 hours or something in the game because
we don't have a LARP in it. This is a real gamer.
I spent after 1.0, which I was using blueprints more. I actually was like started to do way more of the factory myself and figuring it out because I was like, hey, this is like the gameplay. I'm not gonna just blitz through all this. But yeah, I would say all of it. Like I liked 1.0 for what it was. 1.1, which was the Rossi oh my gosh, Tong patch. And that one was like, okay. I still think the boss fight was really good. Like, I think pretty much across the board for all of the story patches, like every set piece and boss fight that has come along with each story has always been like satisfying and a great addition that I've always appreciated. But the story patch was fine. 1.2, which was the Fang Yi patch, which was great. Too long, but it was great. 1.3, I will rate it because we didn't get like MSQ, but they brought in this like character quests instead, which is like that's substituting MSQ like for a patch update. So like it was like meh, it was fine. I like Mifu. Camille was fine. I mean, like obviously I'm sure there's a lot of the ladies out there who were like falling all over Camille. I get it. I can see it.
Cool vampire boy.
I pulled for him. I got him. He's very helpful on my Heat team, but it's fine. 1.4 was like stellar. Absolutely loved it. Actually, I'm coming off like literally at the time of recording. I finished it like 30 minutes ago. So, no, I loved 1.4. If I need a point of reference here so I don't sound crazy, what would you consider a 10? If I'm like doing a scale of 1 to 10. I need a reference point.
I don't know if anything's a 10, but patches that I would rate highly amongst gotchas. Things like 2.2 in Wua, I think, was pretty high. The Cardathea end patch.
Not 3.1.
Anyway,
I think 3.1 subjective. But a lot of people really like 3.1. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're
if I'm
talking
trying to
about
agree.
Enfield, not
Yeah.
Wuthering Waves, you dweebs.
I
Don't
thought-
derail it
No,
already.
just say like a point of reference that we're talking about. Okay, whatever.
No, it's fine. Okay, if the reference point is we're talking about gotcha story patches, and
How
not just like
how
general like
satisfied do you
stories in
feel
general.
coming away from it? Like that's really what it is. 10 being that like it could not have been better. Nothing. I couldn't. You wouldn't be able to critique it.
Then I would give it like an 8. I'll give it like an 8 because it definitely had some moments that I felt like moved with. And I think they did a good job with Arcane that they didn't make her just like this like Mary Sue that was parachuted in and they made everything about her. It felt like earlier story chapters
I was
were
worried
laying
about
the
that.
foundation for this.
Yeah.
So, and I think the way that they went about her story, while like obviously it's very centered around her for this pretty much the whole patch.
Yeah.
It's done in a much better execution than maybe like other stories have done it previously. So like I was very happy with that. And I think her acting and the scenes that they brought along with her had some really good payoffs. And the boss fight, oh my gosh, the boss fight. Absolute, and like it's just so good. Absolute insanity for that one. Loved the design and the set pieces, but I'm sure we'll talk more about that later.
100%.
So yeah, 8 for sure.
Awesome. Ryuku, rate your patches for Arknights Endfield.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like line in line with what Amethyst and also to a degree what Connor said as well. I will give this latest patch higher than 8, but like 1.0. I'm also it's really weird. Like we're all in the minority of people that actually enjoyed 1.0. Like 1.0 had issues with like just the amount of tutorials, like just really drag down the pacing of the story in general. But if you take out the tutorial sections, like just having to press yes, next, but if you take a look at the story itself, I was pretty fine with that, and I enjoyed the game for what it was. 1.1, like a bit of a step down because I wasn't all too interested in either Rossi or Tang Tang. Like Tang Tang, I really like her as a character, but just like design wise, both of them, Rossi, not my thing. Zhuang Fangyi, oh fuck, yes, thank you. But again, I agree with everyone. Like the actual patch itself was good, but the fact that that's all we got basically like half the amount what we usually expect for a full length of the patch. It just felt too long. It was like a really long summer, just like a drought. And then after that with Mifu, I was always looking forward to Mifu. Camille, just didn't expect much for him, but I was like, okay, cool, again, cool vampire boy, let's go for that. And this latest patch here with Arcane, I think I think 1.0 is a lot better than people give it credit for, and I like it there. And 1.4 here, this latest patch was a lot better than that as well. And I think it's the patch that really proves a lot of the naysayers wrong. That people are just saying, "Oh, Enfield's dog shit," or it's like really just not that good, or whatever, it's mid. I'm like, nah, I think you're just like being a hater at this point because it's really proven a lot of things that you just can't really deny. It's just so damn good. And again, speaking about the boss, which we'll get into later, like I don't use this term very often because I think it's been overused, but like that scene, like their introduction was literal pure fucking cinema. Like just the whole vibe and everything, the way they presented it. And we can get into it later, but it was so damn good.
Yeah.
And in terms of lore as well, like all the stuff that they're setting up, and it's like they're bringing this a lot into the game a lot earlier than other games might have done it. Like a lot of other games might have brought it into the 2.0 or the 3.0 or whatever, but like they're starting to tie things up and talking more about Talos 5, which was also in the like mentioned in Rossi's patch, if I remember correctly, but a lot more wider universe and world building as well, which I'm really curious about. Like again, the whole thing with the Aethercide and Ardashir and Nephrith's role, like where does she stand really? And Arcane, the way they built up Arcane and the way they explored her as a character, fantastic. So again, I don't think 8. I think it's like a 9 or a 9.5 for this current patch, personally.
Got you. No, I think again, I mirror a lot of what everyone's saying. I was a little bit of a 1.0 hater. Everything until Wuling I thought was a bit rough. There was some shining moments, but I think it was a bit long, a little bit rough. As soon as you get to Wuling though, things do kind of change with the pace kind of I felt good about it. I was like, okay, but then the problem is 1.1 hits. As soon as like it starts getting good, 1.1 hits and it brings me right back again. And I'm like, oh wait, actually they were kind of cooking and now I feel like I've been brought back a bit. Tang Tang's a very interesting character and I like her a lot. but a lot of stuff around it just felt kind of fluffy, and I didn't really care much. And I'm like, we're in this really great city, but now we've been thrown into the stockade situation. It just felt like you've teased me and you've pulled me away, and that kind of was a bit difficult to deal with. And then 1.2 came, and then by God, did that feel like perseverance is worth it, because as soon as 1.2 came, it like it felt exactly. So if dude, I was like, this okay, I'm happy I stuck with it. I'm happy I stuck with it, even though I feel like a lot of the necessary build-up was like kind of important, and I get it. It could have been refined a bit. It really started to take into place 1.2, and I was like, okay, they're really building something here. The way they're doing world building, the way they're introducing characters, the way the old characters from other patches are sticking around. That's an important thing. They were bringing back characters constantly, all the time. Mifu's always been there. Tang was there throughout 1.2. Love that. Zhuangfeng Yi section.
Mr.
Dapan,
Dapan.
bring all the characters in. I love that. Yeah, boss fights that were starting to become insane in 1.2. We spoke, I remember this, me and you spoke about that so much, of how that boss fight in 1.2 was so good. Scale, everything, disaster. And awesome. And obviously, it was a long time. Again, they bring us peak, and then we get pulled back because of how long patches to patches can be. It's like, really good, and then you get pulled back, and then it's really good. Then 1.4 hits. Oh my goodness. I loved 1.4. I think it was maybe a little bit too long. That's the only complaint that I have. A tiny bit too long. But my God, was there so many things about it that I truly loved. And like I said, we'll talk about it more in depth. But Arcane story. I guess we can maybe we could talk about Arcane too, but Arcane story, she didn't take away from the actual main narrative of what was being told. We hadn't objected the very large rift. But her story was so entwined in that it didn't feel like talking about her was removing from like the actual story itself. So let's talk about Arcane real quick, and then we'll talk about bosses. How did you guys feel about the portrayal of Arcane? Because she came back, she was there all the way in 1.2. I guess was her first like introduction.
Yes.
And I was worried she was gonna be like, oh, she's super strong, she's gonna help us, and then it will be an issue. But clearly that wasn't really the case when 1.4 came around, and she was a flawed character. And we see more of her development. And she's one of my favorite characters in the game, narratively speaking. One of my favorites, 100%. So I'm wondering, you guys, whoever wants to start, how you felt about Arcane's development in the story. Like I said,
I
awesome.
think when I first met Arcane, I thought she entered the fray in a very cool fashion. And I was like, okay, she's pretty cool. She entered with her big blast cannons and basically just wrecked the enemy and was like, I'm Arcane, or whatever her real name is. And seeing that Chen and Arcane have a history was really cool. But then like I didn't like her as much in 1.2 because she just felt like a pretty bland, I'm a dickhead, my only mission is to save the
I'm a
Endmen.
soldier.
Yeah,
I have
and that's
orders.
it. She fought like a soldier, and only ever did think like a soldier. And I was like, you're bland to me. Like, you're cool, like you're powerful and cool, but you're bland. You're bland. You're bland of a good design. That's it. And then when she actually was like at the end going, okay, I'm going to sacrifice myself to save the Endmen and basically trap 𝑬𝑽𝑬𝑹 in the void, I was like,
wait,
cool.
hang on a minute.
Okay, hold on.
That's the moment I was like, wait, hold on. She's strong. She wants to solo 𝑬𝑽𝑬𝑹 on her own and hold him off. That's crazy.
Maybe she's onto something. Maybe she's on. And then when she made her re-debut and reappearance in 1.4, I was like, okay, let's see if she actually got some depth. And the first half, I was like, she's still a dickhead. She's still a cold, think like a soldier, act like a soldier. But there's obviously reasons for it. And I'm going to let the story cook because it's her patch. Let's see what happens. And then we start seeing her old master, her and Chen's past. And I was like, I get it. I understand why you're a bit of a douche, bit of a donkey, and it's understandable. Okay, if anyone went through what you went through, I think there would be a little bit of a dick too. And then when we got to the part where the bridge collapsed and we were like in the Underdark and we saw all of like her past memories and she starts to remember, because obviously her trauma, she forgot about them and now she's remembering stuff. It did make me cry.
I cried, bro. I had
especially the moment where we see her mum and dad and she remembers them. I was just like,
do you know what got me? Do you know what's the bit that got me? It wasn't even that bit. It was like, you know, when you're like walking through and you see like the shades and they appear in like certain positions. What got me was like, I think it was like a person being stuck under like a piece of rubble and the child like reaching out. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, no. Yeah. I felt so, even at that point, I was like, oh my God, my heart.
It was the bit where it was the bit where like it was the final goodbye, and like she sees everyone, and then they sort of look at her, hold hands, and then it's like they finally say goodbye and walk off into the distance, and it's like the ghosts came back to say their final goodbye, and I was just like, oh, that got me a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, see, the different part got me there. Like that part, I'll admit, was the one part of the story where it was like, I was like, okay, I get what we're doing here, but it's feeling like a little bit long. But then actually the part that got me, and speaking to like, you know, she's been like the tough soldier the whole time, there's a very specific line when she's like looking at the little girl version of herself, and she looks back towards the Endman, and she asks the Endman, like, you know, what's different between me and this blight shade. And at that point, I play in English. The English VA absolutely crushed it and had this like perfect like breaking in her voice where like you see like she finally like cracks under the pressure of everything in that moment. And that's when it got me, where I was like, damn, that's good. Damn, that's good. Like that was all the buildup. That was what all of it was for that one line, and for to finally crack at that moment. And I was like,
cinema.
You did it. You got it. Well done.
Yeah, and for me, like once I saw the smaller version, I like maybe I've just played too many of these. I'm used to it. I was like, that's the younger one. That's already like little Arcane. I could already tell from a mile away. I was like, but even still, even saying that, just like following her around and seeing her pass through that was really, really touching. And I agree with what both of you have already said. Like, oh, that was all really, really phenomenal. One thing that I really did like is like how they portrayed her master, her and Chen's master as well, right? And like the relationship between them. And I also liked how they portrayed like Arcane and Chen of being like two sides of the same coin, and like where Chen could have, Arcane is what Chen could have been if she'd like lost that hope and spark in her life, and Chen is what Arcane could have been if she kept that. So like 100%. They're basically the same person, and I really loved that. But the way they presented their teacher and their master as well, and when I was playing it, I thought it was really, really good. And what it reminded me of, and maybe you guys can like say yes or no on this, is to speak about. We just mentioned about 10 out of 10 stories. Like you mentioned 2.3 cap for Wuthering Waves, like the Cartithia patch,
I think.
Oh, 2.2, sorry,
2.3. No, mate, it's 2.3. I can't remember. One of them.
Yeah,
that one. We all know what I'm talking about.
You know what? The inverted tower. Like when we go to the inverted tower to save Cartithia and that sort of thing. And what it reminded me of, like with the whole thing with the teacher, it reminded me of Cadanto. Cadanto, which was Cartithia's echo that protected her when she was still out at the time. And
was it
no,
oh,
Cadanto.
Cadanto. Oh, my bad. Okay.
That's Genshin.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm a LARPer.
Okay, we found out who the real LARPer is.
Can we change?
We found out who the real LARPer is around here, right?
Can I take
Get
my
out.
show back? Can I take my show back now? Can I host?
Get out. Anyway, so like I was saying, it reminded me of that, like when you see this shade, like a shade of the past, and you're following, and even though they're already gone and they've turned into an echo, and again here, even though they're already gone, they've turned into a blight shade, they still have that slight bit of consciousness left in that's still out there to protect and look after their protected being, the people that they looked after in life, and they're still looking after them in death as well. I thought it was really, really good. And again, it ties back in as well with the part where you see all the blight shades, like the leftover consciousness coming back to say goodbye and make sure that their loved ones are safe. And I thought it was just really, really fantastic. And again, that's why I think for me this is like a 9.5 or 10 out of 10 patch, because I agree. The Cartithia Inverted Tower patch was like a 9.5, 10 out, like almost near perfect patch, and for me it was that same level. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really strong. And I think Arknights Endfield are doing a very good job at telling stories about their main cast of characters that they introduce.
Yeah.
I don't think there has been, even like in 1.1, which I wasn't a huge fan of, I still think they did Tang justice in 1.1. even though I didn't like the overarching plot of that as much, they've always seemed to nail the main limited characters, the banners, the big standouts for me. And I think that's really awesome because in some it could be hit and miss, but they haven't really missed so far, in my opinion, when it comes to those. So that's pretty awesome. So I mirror a lot of what you guys are saying, and they did Arcane so well. And like I mentioned at the beginning, it tied in to the world building, and Arcane I didn't really think really took away from that world building, which was awesome. But I guess we can come on to world building a little bit. But I think we all just really want to talk about one main thing. Bosses. I think everyone just wants to talk about bosses. Like, well, what? Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, thank you. Bro, I will glaze that till the day I die. That would, for just any game. Even for any game.
Cap,
so cool.
I have a question.
Go for it.
I have a question. How much did you goon over Alekrios when you came onto screen? Because I didn't even watch your stream, but I can tell like he was like, I want to fuck that rock.
No. It's not even that. No, I swear to, it's not even that. Oh, let me fuck that stone gardener soldier. Let me. No, bro, it was just cool. It was just so fucking cool, and I felt like it was literally like Aura Farm peak Aura moment. And I know some people are like, ew. Aura slop is like so easy and cringe and it's not good storytelling, but I think that was deserved, and I think every game needs its moment of like Aura Farm. I think that did that. Also, big fucking shout out to Crywolf for the OST. Without the OST, that wouldn't be half as fucking cool.
Yes.
Wouldn't be half as fucking cool.
Yes.
Absolutely nailed it.
They need to hire Crywolf again for future bosses because that was something. That was something.
That boss would not be half as good without it. I will put money on that.
As soon as you hit that like second half, like
the
after getting through the first half, it starts playing rock. I remember I was sitting there playing. I play on my PlayStation 5, except for Factory. Sometimes I'll then go to PC. But like when I'm just like playing the game casually, I'm playing on my PlayStation, and I was just like sitting there, and I remember just like sitting on my couch with the controller when it hit, and I was just like, this is so fucking cool. It's like, you have that moment when it just like sits in there. Like the one thing I think Arknights has gotten right pretty much every patch that they've introduced one is their like end game bosses or whatever, weekly bosses, whatever you want to consider them to be, are always so on point.
Agreed.
Like their set pieces and arenas that they're introduced into, how each boss like interacts with its arena over the course of its boss fight, the design for the characters, the mobs themselves, like the bosses themselves, are just phenomenal. That it feels like reminiscent of like Dark Souls bosses, and I love.
Dude, I was gonna fucking say that, you asshole.
I love the boss design out of like From Software games, like and their themings that they like tie into them, and every single boss I feel like Arknights has introduced is like it feels like a spiritual callback to that in their designs. Not one for one because it's different, but yeah. So like when Alekrios, or however you say his name, like comes out, and his whole like introduction, and he's like the way he's like having that conversation, like what are you gonna do, like everything about what he is
perfect. Me of like in Elden Ring, where those that have played Elden Ring would know.
I hate you both.
When you first meet Margit and he goes, foul tarnish.
Yes.
It's like, it literally reminds you of like when he first talks to the Endmin, I'm like, bro, this is like
it's so
and I actually both liked and disliked the difficulty of this boss.
Okay, we'll come on to that. You just suck. You just suck.
Wait, you had a hard time with the boss?
He has fuck ye!
First time clear.
Yeah.
What a larper.
With an underpowered team.
Let me explain, please. Let me
allow
me to explain.
I need a justification right now because I did it with 4-star characters, man.
He's your
absolutely shut down.
Dude. It wasn't a full team of 4 stars, but I had 2 4 stars on my team for this.
I did it with 5 stars, but they were all like level 50.
Yeah, like I only built my 𝑬𝑽𝑬𝑽, and I relied too much on 𝑬𝑽𝑬𝑽. So when she died,
she got knocked out.
No one else could do anything.
My other characters were like throwing teddy bears at the thing, so I had to keep restarting.
That's rough.
Dude,
And it got
I
I got so mad. I got so mad.
I had a 5-star team of Zhang Fangyi, Pog, Levitane, and Erdelia, and they were all like level 50 because I'm just so far behind on like, level my characters. I was just too busy like in the factory and exploration, that sort of thing, and I still cleared it in decent enough time, like with a really underpowered team. But yeah, I want to get back to how much I fucking hate both of you because you both steal my points. Like, it's exactly what I want to say. Like just the way that they. This is what I was thinking about the boss, right? The way that they presented the boss as well. Like, I really like how they're not afraid to make the boss feel really intimidating and overpowering, and just have that big, yeah, just really big. And it did when I was playing it, it did remind me of Elden Ring. I wouldn't say Margit. I was thinking like even like later on, just like actual aura farm type characters as well,
kind of thing.
All of them. All like just like the way that they just step onto the field and just command this respect and this aura around them. Like you have to like pay attention. You have to like be aware of where they are and what they're doing, because they just have that kind of again aura, but just not just aura farm. It's like they do have that literal aura. I don't care what anyone says about aura slop. They have that presence. Thank you. And I thought it was really, really good. And again, with you mentioned about Crywolf. Oh my god, it was so good. And actually recognize a lot of similarities between Crywolf's song for this one. I don't know if there's got a name for it yet. I can't remember, but it's also very similar in a lot of different ways for the other song that Crywolf did, but for Wuthering Waves, which is Galbraina's Lullaby. And if you actually listen to both of them, they're very similar, in their composition. And I'm saying that as a compliment because I like both of them. They're so damn good. And I was so engrossed in this song. I actually went to Crywolf's Twitter account to read upon or listen up on the background, because he actually recorded himself. He actually released as well, like the moment that he came up with the inspiration for this song, where he's saying like he was out camping with his friends and he's on his like a recorder and he's got like some Crywolf ASMR going on there. But it was really, really interesting. And one thing that I really liked about this, and it ties in with the character of Alakris as well, is like there's a second part, because this song is in like 3 different parts. In the second part, where you've got like this like Latin type chanting.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know if this translation is correct, but for this translation I read, I've got it on screen. It said, "If I cannot bend the will of heaven, then I shall move the powers of hell." I was like, holy fucking shit! What a line!
That would kind of make sense. That would literally really make sense to what's happening at the time. Like he got the refusal of his like lord, and then okay, it's me. That's it. I'm not going to go against like the ideals. Like it fits.
When Alakaros landed and first appeared, I was like, he doesn't look that big. And he landed, I was like,
he's big.
Masuf.
I was like, oh.
I was gonna say that is such a perfect like the way they like showed that in the storytelling, where like he comes out and you're like, oh, he kind of looks like. Maybe he's like a little taller than the other characters, but he just looks like humanoid or whatever. And then,
okay.
It's like the Willem
superhero
Dafoe
landing.
meme. It's just the Willem Dafoe meme. You're like,
I want to say, like, there's a couple of things I want to add. Firstly, like the actual gameplay of the boss. You guys talk about Elden Ring. I'm gonna say Final Fantasy 14. That boss reminds me of a raid boss. Like it's from like the AoEs to everything, mechanics. I felt like I'm fighting a raid boss. I'm back in the Black Temple fighting Illidan at the end stage. Like it's
what does
like,
that mean?
It's a boss. It's a raid boss in WoW. My bad. So sorry. Oopsie. Sorry. I'm old. What can I say? And it was really good, and I liked it a lot. I've always said that I feel like in a lot of these gacha games, that type of you're not gonna get a Dark Souls. It's not gonna happen. You're never gonna get a Dark Souls real like combat gameplay with these gacha games, but you can get raid bosses and the way that the patterns, fight patterns that enemies do. And I think that it really works because you get that sense of scale. Things always feel big. You're running around a lot. You have to dodge things. And I feel it's cool mechanics. And that's awesome. And I think that's a vibe. And my second thing, I think Arknights Endfield for me does the best cutscenes of any gacha game right now. What do you guys think?
They do.
Agreed. So many of the other games make them way too short. They'll be like the cutscenes will be like some of them, especially like I don't want to piss off the 𝑬𝑽𝑬 fans, but like HSR was the worst for this, where HSR would have like a 5-second, 8-second cutscene, like a transition, and then like there's like a black loading screen in between each side of it, and you're like,
No,
like
no,
it just
but they
feel
did
integrated
but
well.
they did no. I have to counterpoint here because I think HSR, you got to give them credit for the white screen and black text.
I knew
true.
that. I knew
didn't
it.
think about that.
I knew it was bait. I knew it was bait. Look,
No,
I'm just
no.
saying,
I think he's right. I think he's cooking. Like, Amethyst, keep going.
No, because you've also got the black screen and white text.
Shit!
you're right.
Fuck! Oh my god! Oh my god! He's right. Okay,
It's a joke.
game over. It's HSR.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's
Oh.
a joke.
Enfield,
It's a joke.
Enfield does a great job of like flowing the cinematics like back
Yeah.
into just the in-engine conversations, where there was a couple times where like
Yeah.
I'd have like a good 5 to 8 seconds where I'm like, oh, like I'm back in the game. Like
Yeah,
it's like
it takes him a second
it
to
didn't like
register.
yeah. And the fact that they can make it flow so like fluidly from like
Mm-hmm.
the cinematics themselves are just like excellently done on their own, but
so good.
integrated into the gameplay that like other games, not even just HSR, but like other ones do this too, where it just like it pulls you out for a sec, where it's like, hey, we did a cool video. Now you're back in the game. It's like, yeah, it's more like
immersion's better.
fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
the
more fluid,
immersion is
yeah.
way better.
It's
I
so
think
good.
Cap, what you were saying about saying you think it's got the best cutscenes of any gacha, I think it's definitely the most consistent with their cutscenes out of any gacha. But if you're talking about consistent quality, I would agree with you. But I think there are moments in Wuthering Waves
Oh no,
specifically
100%. Ooh, it's
where
great.
I've gone,
Yeah.
like especially recently with the Meng Zhao stuff. I was like the last arc. I won't say anything unless obviously anyone hasn't played it. Even like you, Con, I don't know if you've played it. But like,
No, I've done it all.
okay, like you know the bit where Qing Xiao comes down with the swords and then
Yeah, that's
like, you've got all-
awesome. Don't get me wrong.
like
Fantastic.
I think we have cutscenes in Woowa that go, okay, this is ridiculously like detailed, but consistent, high quality cutscenes. Yeah, I'll say Enfield takes the cake.
I don't think that it doesn't have to be one's better than the other necessarily, but I just think for me, I've just really enjoyed Arknights' cutscenes, and they felt so cool. Like the moment the Alecrios, he gets the sword taken out of his hand, and then Endman just grabs
goes,
it. I'm like, what, bro?
That's so good.
Bro, it's so good.
I don't care what anyone says. I love Aura Slop.
No,
I love
sure.
it. I live for it. And so like I don't even care, especially when when it's earned Aura Slop, oh my gosh,
That was so
sign
earned.
me up. Yeah.
So
I just love it where Endman goes, I refuse.
Oh,
And
Pete.
it's like,
Yeah.
Oh shit! I was just saying. I think when it comes to these cutscenes, like consistency, I do think Arknights has the better one. But like, when it comes to like action cutscenes, I think Wuthering Waves does action cutscenes a lot
Sure.
better. But when it comes to like even like the slow moments, like those conversation parts with Alecrios and all sort of thing between that, it is cutscene. But I think Arknights Endfield has a higher baseline for the cutscene, but Wuthering Waves has a high point for the
I
cutscenes.
agree.
I don't know
I'd
how
agree
to
with
really
that.
explain this.
I know what you mean.
But yeah,
the highs are higher in a way. The
the highs are higher in Wuthering Waves for sure. Yeah.
Sure.
But the baseline is higher for Arknights Endfield. I think it's because of all the experience that Hypergriff have had with the original Arknights as well. Like they're taking the way that they tell their story with, again, because they have all these. We spoke this earlier about how they have a consistent mix of like all the characters that haven't come out yet and characters that have been out for a while. They just consistently keep incorporating them into the story, and they're still continuing that kind of storytelling that they have from the original Arknights, which did the same thing, and just taking that. Whoever's writing down the story, I think they've got the same person in it because they're doing really, really well. And yeah, when it comes to those conversations and the lower parts and the slower parts for those cutscenes, and they have all these characters in there, and the way they present it is just really. It doesn't feel like I'm watching a game cutscene. It feels like I could legit just watch this as an animated
100%.
TV series or something like that. It's so damn good.
Yeah.
It's almost like Arknights has an anime.
does it? Does it?
Almost.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Almost.
Wait, no, it doesn't.
OG Arknights.
Imagine if they had
OG
one.
It
Arknights
literally
is an
does. It
anime.
has like 3
Yeah.
seasons.
It does.
It
No,
has, like, 3
that's the
seasons,
joke,
yeah.
Amethyst. It does. It has an anime. It has like
Yeah.
several seasons of anime.
They're basically adapting the game. So if you don't want to read the literal textbook that is the reading
know
of like
this.
the game
Original-
story, there's like the
Dude!
anime
I didn't
is
know this.
basically doing like a condensed version of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like 3
Okay,
seasons of it. or
Again, you're
something.
proving yourself to be the lapper here.
I need to. I'm watching the anime. I need to watch the anime.
Yeah.
Now.
You should.
I need
You
to
really
see it.
should.
I don't know if it's any good, but I'm definitely down to give
Oh,
it.
it is.
I've heard
It's very
good things in that it's adapted well. I haven't watched it all myself. Like I'm not like super engrossed in like the original Arknights. Like I know some of the lore a little bit, but I'm not a huge OG Arknights guy.
Yeah.
I am
I'm
a
gonna
huge OG Arknights.
Yeah. So I know
I've been playing
it's-
Arknights since like about 2 or 3 months after it launched in Japan. So like that's several years.
Can we talk about Odyssey now?
Well, I was about to get into that. I was gonna tie this in to
Aubergine? Who's Aubergine?
Aubergine. Because obviously the boss fight with Alekrios was really good, but then we end up realizing and suddenly putting that guy is just a gardener. Can we point out? Can we point out
Yeah.
he is literally just a fucking god. He's just a throwaway soldier. He's just a
just a
literal
janitor.
fucking. He's the literal janitor, bro, and he was like that, and that's crazy. So this world that everything comes from Terra, right? All these people from Terra, and we know that Odyssey was in his prison. He was locked in his prison, guys. He definitely couldn't have get out if he wanted to. He had his Eisen moment.
I just was like, I was saying to Cap, I'm messaging Cap going, bro, it's Eisen, like, where he's just in the chair like this.
It's so good. And the world building truly is ramping up. 1.2 did it, but now, because Odyssey was always the vague posting king, but now in 1.4, oh my god, like the world building is so good right now. And that's what I love the most about like games is narrative design, direction, world building, telling a good story and making a good foundation. And I think it solidified that with 1.4. And the Odyssey moment, we're going to be talking about spoilers. So obviously, if you haven't seen it, don't tune out. What the hell are you doing watching this podcast?
Odyssey dies.
Dude, bro.
We're not lying, by the way. Like, we're not lying, by the way. He does die. He does die.
Neferith coming back.
He's not really dead.
Neferith
he
coming
dies.
back and then Odyssey dying. Well, dying, quote unquote, was crazy. And we learned a lot about what we're going to experience next and everything that Endmin comes from. What do you guys think of this current world building? About Odyssey, about everything? Give me all of it.
I think the world building has every single time, because I can tell what Hypergriff are doing, which I think is the right thing to do, is they're doing one big lore patch, one filler patch, one lore, one filler, one lore, one filler. That's clearly the pattern on what they're doing. And I think that's a good thing because the filler patches can keep the world building to the more like area coded lore sort of thing, to build on the areas, the characters, to build on the roster and to build on that kind of lore. But the big universal lore and the Enderman lore and the villains and everything, that will come in the big patch. And when Ardashir was doing his Eisen and like talking in riddles and he was in his prison and he was like vague posting about, oh, you're going to want to come back and talk to me when you get to the big thing. We still don't know why, by the way. We still don't know why. Like he just said that. We never got a chance to talk to him. But when we're talking about Terra, and when we're talking about Talos 5, and when we're talking about other planets and other realms, it's making everyone just go, well, now I want to know more about that. Like, that's where I want to get to now. And it's doing a good job where it's not like every story and every gacha teases you, or it throws breadcrumbs at you going, oh, here's some lore. Or here's some lore. You're never going to find out for like 5 years, but here's some lore. But then with Enfield, it's like every big story patch, you're going leaps, not small steps. It's like a leap in front. And I think that's a really good thing. And also the fact that there are different, like, it seems like there's factions, because what Ardashir genuinely wants is for Enmin to take the throne and be a benevolent ruler. He wants him to rule again. We don't know what he was like before, but clearly he was a good leader. Hence why Ardashir is like, we need you back. We need you back.
It seems like they from what I'm gathering, they believe they need like a leader to save them.
Yeah,
but at the cost of others, it seems to be what they were hinting at. So,
but like, Ardashir doesn't seem like a villain. He doesn't seem like an evil person. I don't believe that he's got an evil bone in his body. I think what he's doing is callous. I think he's just doing like a Thanos. He
believes his is the right way.
I think his way is the right way. And Ryuki, you can wait your turn, mate. And then you get Neferith.
Just shut the fuck up for a second.
and then
Yuko, shut your fucking face.
And then you got like Nefereth, who is just there for destructive reasons, and because she just enjoys being Nefereth, I guess, which is a
She feels
destructive
more like the
force.
character for evil's sake more than
Yes,
like anyone
yes,
else.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think
Oh,
I like
I
the
don't think it's
balance
that.
between two. I think she's got a reason, but I think
Everyone's gonna
her
have a reason,
reason.
but in this particular moment
But
right now, as we know
yeah,
her.
in this narrative story, Ardashir is the Thanos, where it's like, I'm doing what I'm doing for a good cause. It's not good what I'm doing, but the end game is the good cause that I'm working towards it. And then Nefereth, I feel like, is the one where it's like, I don't give a shit about your plan. I don't need you.
Do you
no
think
more.
maybe she's more self-serving? Is that why?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. I think so.
Yeah, like so I'll because Ryuku is gonna be pulling in that Arknights lore, so I'll go
Yes.
next before he
Yes.
goes in and starts
Yeah.
dropping all of that, and so that's why he's gonna be pulling shit out of there. So I'll go before.
No, go for it.
No, I 100%. I think the clear implication is that the administrator was part of the foundation. And he is one of the forces like behind what's been created. Like he's literally he was called the creator, and the
He's
the
gotta
boss
be
was talking about
like
how he was abandoned
precursor,
by
right?
like he abandoned. Yes, like he's
Yeah.
clearly part of that. He's part of like that original journey that came from Terra. Like he's the administrator's constantly being hyped up as this like all powerful being. There is room for interpretation that he could be the Doctor from Arknights, which I'll leave more of that for Ryuku if he wants to touch on it, or that at the very least he's like a descendant of some kind or clone of some kind of the Doctor. Like there's clearly some through line between the administrator and the Doctor of the original Arknights. Like, and that's from like his coat design. Like there's a ton of like symbolism and callbacks to that.
It could be a reconvener.
I mean, the only thing why I don't know if he could be that, because he's like a different kind of being beyond all of that, like him. And because I know this is getting into some like deep like end game lore to like the original Arknights, and for like the stuff that it's getting into with like his partner, I forget what her name is. Like, so there's clearly Priestess. I think some stuff happening in OG, Priestess with the OG Arknights that's like tiptoeing around potentially what's leading to the events of Arknights Endfield, but it seems that they're keeping them separated enough that they're not doing that. So I think Ardashir is just connected to whatever original organization and mission that the administrator was either a part of or started himself, in the same way that is clearly connected to that as well. Like she knew Ardashir in some way, shape, or form. So there's clearly other beings, people, whatever you want to call them, that are around that are connected to this precursor mission, and were being basically guided into getting back to like the power that we can have for that. And that's 100%. Kind of like obviously hinted at by the conversation with what's her name, M83 or M3,
M3,
the
M3
at the end. That actually, just as a quick side, is actually one of the reasons why I didn't give the patch a higher rating, is because I hate how they're treating M3, because they're treating her like everyone knows who this character is. We clearly know what these conversations are. So let's just have this conversation. I'm like, we saw her for like a split second at the beginning of the game when he wakes up. She's a huge character in the OG Arknights and has a ton of lore and what her role is with the Doctor. And then she's just casually chilling in Enfield.
Did
and
she
I'm
come
like,
through first?
Why are we not
Didn't she like come through first to help Enderman Industries or whatever the hell it's called? Like to help them grow or to help them build or whatever?
Yeah, like she's like an original like connected being of sorts. Like
I think
that's
she came through with Warfin. All right, so
it's
Warfin. Oh, fuck's sake! Here we go.
Anyway,
so like. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, let me go before Ryuku goes.
Wait, can I make one more comment about Nefereth though before we move on? Because I didn't get to talk about Nefereth.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think Nefereth is just evil for evil's sake. I think Nefereth is the classic third party, where like kind of like we've been talking about and talking around. Where we're talking about like the powers of heaven and the powers of hell, and there's like the aether side and like what is happening on like kind of like let's just say like the physical side of things and the forces that are battling between the two. Nefereth is the classic third party of like, I will not be controlled by the powers of the divine. I will choose my own path. And that's kind of like what her final conversation with Ardashir, I think, is what it's manifesting, is like, I don't need to be following your plans. Like I followed my deal for whatever, like, Ardashir's plan was with that other girl.
It was symbiotic for a time when it worked.
when it was, but she is basically rejecting both.
No,
and
I
she's like,
agree.
no, I will be determining my own destiny. So it's not evil for evil's sake. It's I reject the divine, basically.
I totally agree with you on that. When I said
Mm-hmm.
evil by evil's sake, I didn't mean it in the sense of that's her only motive. Just like she, like, you could almost, in that moment, you could almost reason with Ardashir. I felt you can almost reason with him, but then we get that like stakes again of, oh no, she's gonna be doing some bad shit. Essentially, like she feels like the more villainous character. And I think when you're playing a story, you kind of need someone to root against in any particular moment. And I feel like she just kind of provided that. But I agree with you. She totally has like motive.
If she
or
became
whatever,
playable,
something.
I'd pull no hesitation. I'm just putting it out there.
100%.
Same.
So getting into a bit more with the nitty gritty of everything, I personally, I think it's pretty kind of like clear that Endmin has some sort of crazy connection to this precursor civilization. You know, he's been around so much more longer than anyone that we've seen or come into contact with in this world. Coming from, we don't even know if he's necessarily coming from Terra or where he's coming from. It's just. They've opened. The reason why it's crazy to me is like scale. Like timelines are so big. The timelines of the story are so big. They can tell so much story, and I think that's like really awesome. So I guess Yuki, you wanna hop in with some like Arknights, OG Arknights connections here. With
can I jump in now?
Yeah, go for it.
So
I can tell you really.
I'll say like
really quickly before Ryuku start. I'm joking. I'm joking.
It's fine.
No, but I actually do have one more thing.
Fuck's sake.
The only thing I was going to say. Anyway, sorry.
I will kick your anyway. So like I'll say like from listening to what I swear to God, Connor. I swear to fucking God. It's fine. I'll say like listening to what you guys are saying. It's like you're so close, and you what you're saying so close, and you're so right, and as well because again playing from the original Arknights, a lot of stuff that they're bringing into the Arknights Endfield story is I'm seeing a lot of similarities with the original Arknights story as well. Like in Arknights, the original story, there is a faction, and there are certain characters in there that they are antagonists. Like they act against the Doctor for the longest time. And throughout, again, I don't want to give spoilers on this one because for those that want to play that, I do recommend it. Long story short, like they are antagonists in the beginning, but they're running for through a different line, for a different method to get to the same goal. So I'm seeing a lot of similarities between the original Arknight story with Doctor and this Arknights Endfield story with Administrator as well. Like I do think that's where Ardashir is very similar to those where like they seem like antagonists, but they're not. They're going for the same goal in a different way. But and when you're talking about Neferith, I think she's more like the more anarchistic, like anarchy. She's going for the anarchy type thing because she wants to like rebel against the powers that be, and anything that stands above her or above anyone. She's like, yeah, nah, screw that. So like, I'll say that I do think that with the Ether side, was specifically to do with Ardashir and the Foundation. I do think there's a connection between them and Administrator, where Administrator was part of them. Or a significant part of them, and they're going for the same thing. Again, this is going to speculation territory now because we don't really know, but I do see a lot of similarities with the original Arknight story. And in terms of like who Administrator is, my personal theory, again, this is theory here, I think they are a reconvener of the Doctor, and there was a bit of a hint towards that in one of the scenes later on in 1.4, where you see that conveyor belt of all the masks being brought out. And I think that's a reconvener of like simply put, like cloning. I think they basically cloned the Doctor into Reconvener, and that's how the Administrator has that same kind of power over the Originium as the Doctor does, and that's why they can control it in certain ways, even though they don't fully understand it or understand what it is. From my understanding, like the Originium in Arknights Endfield is quite a little bit different to quite a bit different compared to the Originium in Arknights. In the original Arknights, it's a lot more volatile, whereas this one, it seems like a modified version that's a little bit more stable. Again, this is getting to the deep lore shit. But yeah, I again, going back to, I think you're all right. We'll see how the story goes, but there's if anything from the original Arknight story is to judge like what we can expect from this story, I think we're all gonna be really happy. But I will say as well, it took a long time for the Arknight story to get to that point of being peak as it's currently seen as. and they're speedrunning it in Arknights Endfield, so we don't have to wait nearly as much because they are building on that that world lore. And you were saying about filler patch and main patch. I agree. I want to put it a different way. It's like in one patch they're building the story lore, the like administrative story lore, and the other patch they're building the world lore, like the world at large, and that's how they're doing it. That's why
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I think again, I think that's what you meant, and that I completely agree on that, and I like that way that they're doing it as well. So, I think there's something else I wanted to say, but I forgot. Was there something you guys wanted to ask about the Arknights original story and like how it connects to this one?
It's M3.
I think
asked about
M3 potentially.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yes. So, yeah, that's the other thing. That's what I was forgetting. Thank you. I'll say M3 or Kaltzit, the monster from the original Arknights. She is a massively like beloved character. And if you played the story in there, you know what. I think right now, like you guys are saying, oh, yeah, they're acting like everyone already knows her. She's a character for the original Arknights players. She's not for you yet, and that's what it is. My opinion of like how M3 is being portrayed in the story so far, in terms of with administrator, she's very similar in a way to, again, to comparison to 𝑬𝑽𝑬𝑽, in a sense of like she's a grown-up version of like the daughter character that's looking after her parent type thing, and I like that dynamic as well. I will say I'm not too fond of M3's current design. I hope she goes to like a bit of a redesign where when she eventually becomes playable, if she becomes playable, because she has a lot better design, well, particularly the monster design in Arknights, original Arknights, which is really, really cool. So yeah, just to say, M3 is not a character for you. She's not for you. She's for the OG Arknights players. So just wait on that one. I would say.
You sound like one of the retarded shippers. That's like, actually, this character's for the girlies, so you don't get to. This one's for the OG Arknight fans. All right. Well, guess what? Fuck them.
Fuck him. I want to know now.
Fair.
I want to know.
Fair. No, it's fair. Like if you come into this game not having played original Arknights, I completely understand why you're like, who the fuck is this character and why should we care? Completely understand it. I'll just say I think when she eventually gets her patch, you're gonna grow to love her as well. That's just my theory.
Well, I'm saying even. Let's even take out that additional like Arknights lore for a second here. I think even within Enfield, like the administrator lost his memory, came out like I think we like kind of like glanced at M3, and then the rest has been with Perlica, and then all of a sudden we're just talking to her on Djong after all of this stuff has happened, being like, "Sup, hey M3, like let's talk casually, like we haven't." Like this has been totally normal the whole time.
Yeah,
but it's like no, like, this is the first time
a little bit
we've
jarring.
spoken to her.
And
it's just like so that's where I was like that this flows weird. Like there was no lead in, there was no like, hey, let me bring you up to speed, or like, oh sorry, we haven't discussed this earlier. I mean, she kind of hinted at some of that she was like, hey, look, my plan was to like let you organically just kind of like explore and come back into this, but this is happening faster than expected. So here we go. But there was still no like, hi, I'm M3. Like, it was just like we're just talking now like this is normal. Like, okay,
I have a question for Ryuku. Who's the woman that was holding Enmin, and who's the woman at the end of the story?
I was about to talk about that. The black-haired girl, because you referred to her as brother.
She's like been from the original trailer, like the one that's like holding her hand out with the glory glove. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no real hints to like who she is or who she might be from the original Arknights. She's a completely new character. My theory from what I've seen, again, I'm kind of keeping a track of what people are saying in the Arknights Endfield lore community as well, is that she's probably something to do. She's from the Foundation for sure,
100%.
and she's probably one of like the co-founders. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to speak as well about.
Priestess reconvener. Dun, dun, dun.
She's kind of like that. She's kind of like a priestess type character, but I don't think she can be a priestess. But I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but in the very, very beginning, 1.0, when you got like that little precursor scene in the beginning, you see like this cursor hand type thing that's like guiding you through some of the tutorials. That is from the original Arknights as well, and that is the priestess's cursor. That's the priestess's hand as well. So there's already hints to the priestess being involved in this world as well. So there's a difference between the priestess, the woman, the girl, woman, whatever in black that calls administrator their brother, sister, sibling, administrator, and doctor. These are all 4 different entities. I think doctor and administrator are probably probably the reconvener of the doctor. I don't think the black character woman is the reconvener of the priestess. I don't think that is. I think she's part of the Foundation that Doctor might have set up later on, but we don't know who she is yet. But there's also things like when you clear the quests to like level up the world level. I can't remember what the world level. You got like a short pit that's like it's a question mark. Someone's saying something to you, and they're saying, I think that's a different voice to that the girl in the black when she's holding Emin. So there's maybe another fifth entity as well in this world that we still haven't seen yet. So that's also another thing.
There's a question mark right here.
Because like sorry.
So no, I was just gonna say, like, I think she's definitely part of Foundation, at least the same faction that Ardish is part of, because in her actual clothing, she has the blue, like, I like to like scratch marks that Ardish shares too. So they have similar symbols like on their clothes. So they have to be, they're connected in the same foundation or same faction to some degree there, 100%.
I thought it was because Ardashir was saying, oh, when you go when Neferith kills Ardashir's physical body in Talos 2, she tells Ardashir, oh, when you go back to her, tell her so and so. So maybe she's the boss of or the current leader, and that's who Ardashir is going to tell. Yeah.
That would make sense. Like the implication is that she's the one who made the original deal with Neferith, like in that conversation. But it makes sense to me that like the priestess hand is like there and stuff at the beginning, because again, I've only watched like YouTube videos, like granted hours long, of like kind of like into the lore. But effectively, the Doctor and priestess are like effectively gods who have been around since like literally the foundation of Terra, and basically set a lot of like the world stuff in motion, and everything in Enfield is everyone coming from Terra. So the implication there is that like they're effectively still these godlike entities that exist. So it makes sense that there's some level of crossover there.
There's another entity in the Arknights lore that I don't think has been fully explored yet, if not even referenced yet, and that's the entity of the Watchers as well. Like in original Arknights, the reason why Originium was made with our Doctor, and again, this is spoilers, sorry, but Doctor and Priestess, they worked in conjunction to create the Originium to like defend against this otherworldly being called the Watchers, which can just like basically destroy planets just by merely looking at them. We still haven't seen how they play into the Arknights Endfield story yet, so that they could also be a part of this, which might be a bit interesting. Because there's also that
they're basically like Lovecraftian horrors. Effectively, they're these like old godlike beings. Yeah, these cosmic horrors. Yeah, that just like destroy everything. Because I remember, I don't know if this matters. Maybe this is too derailed. Like, but there was a whole thing about how like there was this like barrier that was like surrounding Terra, and then one person had this whole mission where she broke through the barrier, which like kind of like called the Watchers back, and it like kickstarted this whole thing. So it's like, so I don't know if that's gonna be connected to all these things. Also, was Talos 5 mentioned before? Speaking of multiple planets,
once in Rossi's story, just like in passing.
I kind of want to bring. I guess we're talking about lore stuff. I want to bring something up. You're talking about Ryuku, how like why Originium was first kind of created or needed to necessary to defeat, like a cosmic entity or cosmic horror that became so overwhelming that they needed a solution. I'm wondering, like, how do you feel
to defeat them? Sorry, it was meant to defend against them, not to defeat them.
Okay, defend, because you couldn't defeat them, but to like protect in some way. You need something to save, a reason to save yourself, I guess, to defeat whatever, right? How do you feel about Aether itself being, what could possibly have occurred for someone to figure out Aether, how it works, where it came to be, who made it? Because if someone made the powers of like Originium, like someone had to physically create it for it to exist, do you think someone had to do that with Aether too? Are there precursors to Aether, do you reckon?
The theory that I've seen so far, the way that Aether is a part of the world, it's much in the same kind of way, like in our current world, of like what dark matter is. Like dark matter is a result of this other byproduct of another thing, which you can actually see. So again, I'm not too sure about this. The theory that I've seen is that Aether is the dark matter version, the dark matter byproduct of stuff that's happened from Originium as well. So like when you're using Originium, Aether is like the other half side of that. That's the theory I've seen so far, but nothing's really been confirmed yet as far as I'm aware. So that's just, again, we'll have to wait until they further
Aether's
explore.
more like a consequence of Originium existing in a way.
Possibly. That's just a theory. We don't know yet, because the only person that we really know that has any kind of control over ether is Ardashir, and he's like, I don't know what this shit is. I just know how to use it, basically. And
That's a good
so
point.
we
He did say
still,
that.
yeah. So we don't know. I can't really say for sure this or that. But
No,
my
I guess we're just
theory
talking
is
about
that it's the dark
speculations
matter
and what
version.
everyone feels.
Yeah.
Like, does anyone else have any
I think it's the
speculations
other.
of like how you feel about it?
It's the dark side version of Originium, probably. That's why you got Administrator and also Doctor with Originium, and the half side of that with the Aether and the Ardashir. So that, again, two sides of the same kind of coin.
I think the only thing I want to add to that is with the powers of Originium, which is what Enmin has, when he overexerts himself and uses too much of it, his Originium veins turn purple, which is the same color as Aether.
Yes. Yeah.
So, which one of the reasons why I'm concerned, not concerned in a bad way, is like concerned for Endmin, is because we've seen this happen multiple times now, where the first time he overexerted himself in 1.0, he just had yellow veins and he exerted himself. And the more he keeps using the power of Originium, the darker they're becoming. And even who's the woman, the really powerful god woman we get introduced to, the proxy. Even the proxy looked at his purple, like, 'cause she's the only one that actually saw it.
Yeah.
And when you're using too much of Originium power, if this keeps up, something bad's going to happen.
You know what that means?
Evil Endmin.
No. You know what that means?
Evil Endmin.
No. Here's my theory. That's going to be our excuse to bond with Ardashir when we find him again. Help train us. How do we control this?
Yeah.
That's my feeling. I want that to happen, please.
Yeah, and that will be the moment where Enmin's like, oh, I have to leave the crew to go with Ardashir to learn how to control my powers, and it's going to look like a betrayal, even though it's not a betrayal, and then they're going to make it look like he's going, I'm betraying you all. But
he's going to have to learn how to use it at some point, right?
Yeah,
like,
and
seems like
I want evil Enmin.
Say, because M3, when she talks about it to Enmin, she was saying that like it is like a consequence, it is like a byproduct, basically. And that like his body just was able to resist before, and he's not strong enough to resist it. So I don't know if it necessarily means he's going to learn to control it. I mean, maybe we get like two versions of Enmin, like we've seen in like other games, where it's like a different element, or it's not like Originium Enmin, it's like Aether Enmin or something. I could totally see them like doing something like that too, from
sick
gameplay perspective. But like the implication, at least that we got from M3, was that it was just something he was able to like resist and just like deal with more effectively.
But
you would ask another question about like
if you can't resist it anymore, doesn't that mean it would corrupt him to the point where he could turn evil or could turn into another kind of being?
Well, yeah, he would just like become corrupted and turn into the blight. Like that's what we've kind of seen like manifest elsewhere. That's kind of been the consequence of Ether. Oh crap, what was your original question? Oh, your question was about like the Ether side. This is where like my ability to speculate, actually I feel like my brain shut off, because Arknights, and let me explain why. Arknights has set up, like in its world building, it's a super technocratic world building where like even these like seemingly like otherworldly things are always like tied back to technology and like data and information. Like the Blight Shades are just saved information in their memories, and they're these echoes of information that exists here. I think actually like Ryuku's kind of hypothesis of like the Aether being like the opposite of Originium, because Originium is like kind of like this unnatural like data storage substance that's been like created in general. So it's hard for me to speculate beyond that, because like I don't think in a super, you know, technocracy, like technocratic kind of way when it comes to like world building. I'm like, for lack of a better term, way too spiritual for that. So like when I was thinking of Ether, like I see it more when I'm analyzing it as like, this is like the force of like entropy in the world. It's the force of breakdown and decay. Like that is just like almost like and how I would look at it, like this universal reality of that like decay will always exist, and it will always be something that we have to
everything's gonna
push off against in the battle against.
You can't add energy into the universe, right? It just like changes forms.
Yeah.
So like if you have
exactly
if you build with Originium, you have to take away. There has to be
I'm actually more convinced of my theory that Aether is like the reverse, the dark side version of Originium, because when you said about information, it just, I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, but another thing about the Originium is like you've got the material of Originium, but what is a product of that is another thing which is called the assimilated universe in original Arknights, which is where all that information is. You mentioned information, it's where all that information is, and like if if you got Originium and Ether, and the information world of Originium is a simulated universe, then the Ether world is the Ether side. So again, that's where all the information is as well. So I'm even more convinced now that that's what they're going for. So again, I'm like 95% sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
Which would make sense in their world building and how they've like chosen to construct their universe in that way.
Yeah.
They seem to have a lot of freedom to like go forward now and tell a really good story along that. They have like the pieces. We've becoming more familiar with Originium, with Ether, and now we're just getting ready for Talos 5 and what's coming next. And they've done a pretty good job. And we see at the very end, obviously, that the Blackhead character appears again. And you see like the Northern Lights, the Aurora. There's a lot of talk about going north, right? At the end of it, we're always gonna have to go north. What do you think we'll find when we get there? Do you think we're gonna find some
waiting
answers?
for us in aura farming? I've been waiting for you, Enmin. What if the prologue is actually the end of the game, but we played it first?
Ooh, interesting.
Because like we probably,
because
I wouldn't
think
put
about
that
it, right?
past it.
Well, think about it, right? When we're fighting the big black-haired woman at the start of the game, Perlica's there, or a mirage of Perlica. Lavatane's there, or again a mirage of them, and there's one other character there that looks like a mirage, and then it kind of just fades to white, and then we wake up.
No, but there was more than that though, because like you literally see like a clock. Do you remember? Like you do the fight, and then you see like a clock, and then you're just like, what is going on? And then you wake up. So there has to be some like, again, timey-wimey stuff happening here.
Yeah, wibbly wobbly.
Yeah, there's some kind of reset or something that took place. I'm convinced of in that regard.
Everything.
I think actually
a simulation.
Hold on. Can someone remind me? There was 3 Talos 2 factions that were not Enfield, and it was the HAS. There was the Uwust, which was like basically the like for 1.0 and like 1.2. What's the third faction? Because that like I can't recall what that faction is at this point, but I'm convinced that we're not going to be going north yet to the Aurora, or maybe we will, and I'm just totally wrong here. My speculation is we're basically going to do some stuff with the third faction first before we even hit Talos 5.
No, there was
because like
I'm looking at right now. Enfield Industries, Hongshan Academy of Sciences, and United Workers Syndicate of Talos 2, Chamber of Commerce, and then you've also got like the whole Bone Crusher type.
That's the Landbreaker. So, but no, it's the Chamber of Commerce where there was because at the beginning of the game before we go to Wuling, there's like that like meeting that's happening, and like so that's kind of like we've spent time with the United Workers, and then we went to Wuling, and that's our encounter with HAS. I think there's going to be an arc about the Chamber of Commerce and us kind of like re-engaging with them for the first time because we're not familiar with them before it comes to a more culminating part of the story. So I think the next so I think the next like region expansion I think is going to be pertaining to that in like another part of Talos 2 before I think we even hit Talos 5. I could be totally wrong, and then all of a sudden like one patch from now they're like Talos 5 baby, and it's like oh okay.
Talos 5 feels like it's going to be its 2.0 in my opinion. Like that feels like
I can see that
probably
like 2.0.
Yeah.
Watch 2.0 be like the big like revival patch, and then it's like Talos 5, and then they basically do so much crazy shit. It's gonna be like the Renaissance of Enfield, where everyone's like, you know,
I'm still looking forward to when Warfarin is going to be interesting to her because she's been mentioned being in this world as well. She came along from Terra to Talos.
Is that
2
the
as
one
well,
that we
so
saw in 1.0?
We still have her.
Is it the one we saw in 1.0? Like the mysterious warrior that appeared in the fire, and then do you remember? You know the one?
I don't think.
Like
I can't remember.
Oh, there was a character that we met, and then she kind of disappeared.
Warfarin is basically a vampire type girl, with long white hair. So she might have a redesign in this current Enfield. We haven't seen her yet, but she's been mentioned to be in the world.
She looks similar to the girl we see in Enfield. I'm pulling up her like OG design here. I could totally see that. Like if we're talking about like how they like translated into the game, I could
possibly
totally see that being like how they redefined what was her name, Suitor, who became Levitan.
Suitor to Levitan,
yeah.
So like I could totally, based on the design I'm seeing here, and from that character that we encountered briefly in like 1.0, whenever that was, at one point, like that was that.
Dude, the fact that we're talking about this, they've just left so many breadcrumbs. Like that's what a good story. They've left so many breadcrumbs and so many like threads to like pull on that could all be like interesting.
I don't want breadcrumbs. Give me the loaf.
No, I was going to say, like you mentioned earlier about like other games would usually just give you little crumbs here and there, and you don't get any payoff until like 5 years down the line. But no, they're not giving us crumbs; they're giving a slice each.
They are,
so
but they're leaving a lot for you
really
to like want, but they answer it pretty reasonably, or they give you like they leave a lot of threads, but they pick one of them and really go for it. I guess is what I mean.
They give you a slice of bread, but go, you can't have the sauce. Sorry,
yeah. But there we go for it. But we've spoken a lot about lore and world building, and I guess we won't hop on it too much more. I guess we can kind of come back to 1.4 as a patch and maybe name some things outside of story that you guys like. For me personally, I'll bring up a good thing and then a thing I would like improved. So, thing I would like improved, I would love to spend down and actually do some time with the factory. And every time I get the motivation to like, I'm going to sort out my factory, a new patch comes out where there's new stuff to get and you have to redo the whole thing anyway. So if you don't do it patch to patch immediately and you wait till the end, you feel like, why would I even bother doing it now? Let me just wait till the new update where they release new things and then I'll just redo it then anyway. Like it kind of, and then all of a sudden you keep postponing it and now you have like 3 new materials to get or farm or mine and set up, and then you give yourself like a longer task later on. And that's something that's kind of, I think, hindering like a lot of people right now that really want to get stuck into it. People like me who are really wanting to, but like it's important for gearing. But the good thing that they've done is that, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in one of the events for 1.4 for Arcane, you could do her trial. And in her trial, they give you like a pretty decent gear set for her off rip just by doing the trial.
Like 80%. It's like 80% of their best set.
Yeah, 80% of the best set, really, and that's good enough to like, you can use her right now and go use her in content so you can go level up other things to go get materials that you need.
Arknights.
And that is such a good idea.
I beat the boss with her amethyst.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing I didn't
Imagine
want Arcane, Connor.
I think that's the worst thing you've said all day.
Get out.
I chose Zhuang Fengyi and Camille. I don't give a fuck about Arcane.
Oh,
I got all three. Character I've missed is Rogue. That's the only character I've missed.
I think that system that they've done, do the trial, and you get a preliminary equipment that's good enough to do all the content you need to level her up or any of the characters up comfortably at any stage you're at. And I think that is a really good quality of life change that they added.
Also, I love the fact that we loaded into the game and they gave us like 3,000 𝑬𝑽𝑽𝑬s straight up.
4 barrels, baby.
Yeah, and it was like,
no, this is a very generous patch. Like there was tons of just like, I think like just in like giveaway stuff, there was like close to 10K. There was at least 5K from like the 3K the scratch event, but then like from the other stuff, like you can super quickly farm up a bunch. Like 100%. It's super great. Actually, I still think this is one quality of life feature. I wish every gacha would do this, is if you max the battle pass on Arknights Endfield. So like it like rewards like players who stick with it. You can overcap it and keep overcapping it and you get more premium currency. So like you can just keep playing and keep doing that. And so that's why I still keep up with it, because like I could just like keep farming for the currency and I'm like having fun doing it. And to your point about the factory though, because I've been like sticking with it. There's only been a couple patches, I think, after you have like the big progression for like the factory and like kind of get like the different like regions in there, where you don't necessarily need to like completely redesign everything. Like that happens a couple times like early on if you're like trying to optimize, but from like I would even say 1.2, and I'm sure somebody will hate me in the comment and be like, you're not a super peak optimizing your factory. Probably not. But since 1.2, I haven't had to do any like major overhauls for like doing like layouts. You can just do like expansions off of like other things where like you're kind of just like expanding into like some of the new elements and pieces to it. So I think like if you do like get like a good foundation on stuff and like use the blueprint system, like you can like reincorporate things easier now, like than maybe previously. But I do agree with what you're saying though, that it's like if you're at the end of a patch and now you want to go do it, and it's like, well,
You might there might be a
it's
new gear
updating in
set that
2
comes out,
days.
and it's like, why would I bother? Let me just go and do.
yeah.
Like, I'll just wait, and then you wait again, and then it's too late.
Then
Like,
why wait until 2 days before the new patch goes live that you have motivation to do the current factory?
No, I agree. It's definitely a skill issue on the person's part, unlike my part. Like I should just do it as it comes. But then in my brain, it's like, well, what's even the point? And then I don't like that feeling, and I wish I didn't have that. I think that's really where my frustration comes in with like any kind of factory system. You have to be really enjoying it in the moment, sort of. I guess to really, but like I'm very like with gameplay like that, I want to do it when I want to do it. I want to take my time, but then to need it to gear your characters, it's like it almost feels necessary if you want to do certain content or like end game content. So then you're kind of like forced to do it in order to play the end games, and then it's just like, well, I might as well just wait till the next patch anyway and make the new gear sets or make the new drives.
Something to remember though. Their gear sets though haven't replaced every character every patch.
No,
like only some of the newer sets like do need that, and generally the trend has been, I'm sure there's, again, the theory crafting for this game is crazy with the versatility of it, but like the new gear sets that come in generally are angled towards like the new characters that are coming, and there a lot of the original characters that are there are still using a lot of the original sets.
But like think of it like, but think of it,
you still need those materials for it.
I'm wondering when they're going to start doing reruns of characters, like straight up reruns, because if you think about it from like maybe a new player who'll hop on when there's like a rerun banner, like a full on like limited upgrade up like happening, and that character, their best set, their best is like from a factory that was like the main factory like however many like patches ago. Like, are people gonna have to like build down almost? Like,
I think it'll be what they did with 1.2, where they'll do like a rerun banner where there'll be like 3 of the older units on that banner. I think that's what they'll do. I don't think they'll do like one singular rerun banner. I think it'll be 3 characters on banner.
Multiple.
But I'm just thinking of like how someone would then gear those characters if they've already like made their factory for
that's the neat
new
part.
characters.
They don't.
That's the thing. That's
well,
what I'm
you could
thinking
just
from
like
that
save.
perspective.
You could like just save your entire thing as a blueprint and put it to the side. Like think of it as like a loadout. Just save the entire
I guess,
thing.
but
as
a new player
blueprint,
wouldn't have that.
put
That's my
to the
point.
side.
Like a new player that starts like now would build their factory to like make gear for the newest characters.
Google.
Right? So like
Google.
it's one of those things
Google.
though, like yes you can Google and there are blueprints, that's what they're there for, but it for some reason to me, like if you have to go outside of the game to do that, to load in a blueprint, I don't know, like it feels like there just could be a different
I've done it
system. And like if you could craft down, like if you could get like the newest like factory expansion, make the gear sets that you can craft down to like the older ones, that might be interesting or cool. Is that a thing you can
Actually
do?
they do, you can do, hold on, you can do that.
Yeah, you can do
they
that.
literally just incorporated that already. Yeah.
Okay, then
there's a parts conversion system. Yeah.
I have no problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Has that always been a thing?
No, it just came in 1.4.
Oh, it just came in 1.4.
Just came out.
1.4 addressing problems that I'm bringing up. 1.4 coding.
This is what I was saying. I love the Arknights Endfield devs because they are like patch after patch. They're bringing out stuff that people are actually like asking for and solving issues like that. I just really love, and they're being really open and transparent with what they're doing. Like last night for me, like 12 hours ago, whatever, they released another 30-minute long like dev behind the scenes type thing conversation onto Twitter. I was like, I just love like how open they are with the community, like how the game's going and what they've been working on, why they've been working on it, what they're going on working on in the future. And personally, like, sorry,
they're very passionate.
They are.
I can see the passion behind what they're trying to create, and it's very endearing. Because I watched, you were saying about the behind the scenes videos. I watched the 1.2 behind the scenes video, and they were so excited for people to try out the Nephrith boss and what they did with it, and they actually thought about the mechanics of it and why they built it the way they built it, and they're just gamers and nerds like us, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and I really just feel like a lot of people say like, for me again, I'm going to say it as well. This does feel like a game first and gacha second for a lot of people, even though people are always complaining about like gacha. I'll say I'll hell, it is. Why are you going? Why is Amethyst gone?
He's done. He's out.
Amethyst.
It's been multiple times you've like.
I'm okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm scared of the
Anyway.
angry mob. I'm scared of the angry mob.
No, I don't care. Like people that focus too much on the gacha, it's like, I'm sorry, you just have issues and you need to like get out. But when it comes to, for me, I think about these games as games first. The gacha is just the thing to for them to make money while giving it. While bringing these games for free to everyone else as well. It's again the way they're presenting the story, like the characters, the bosses, the cutscenes, the cinematics, the actual the character combat mechanics, like everything. It's just like it's really damn high quality, and I don't care what anyone says. It's really good. Like again, when it comes to the boss as well, like each boss has its own different set of mechanics that you have to think about, you have to be aware of, and you have to be like really cognizant. You can't just like spam E, spam Q. You can't really do that. You have to like be aware of like where things are. You be like, aware of your surroundings, and I really like that as well. One thing I don't like, again. Speaking of the gacha, though, if we are going to speak about the gacha, the weakest part about the gacha system for me, I don't care about the character gacha system. That's like, okay, well, it is what it is. The worst part for me is the weapon banner system. Like the only way you can get the currency is by spending on the thing. But in saying that, Connor mentioned about the battle pass as well. Like you can basically just like use the premium currency to buy that higher tier of that, which gets you a weapon, which is. You can only choose one though, which is fair. Again, it makes the players have to choose. It gives you a weapon that is like 80 or 90% as good as the character's character's signature weapon as well. So it's not nearly as bad as people thinking or making it out to be. But
if you keep up with it though,
that's the weak part.
They don't add, but the thing is, they don't add new battle pass weapons every single time. Like I have like every single battle pass weapon. Like I've gotten every battle pass, and I chose like for like all the boxes, like you can get a single copy of all of them. But then one of the other things in the battle pass is there's like a dupe material that you can use to like enhance it too. So if you have like a main DPS character that you're like, oh, I don't have the currency to get their premium weapon, but this one's pretty close, you can then use all those dupe materials to do like the max, like whatever, it's like ascension or refinement. I can't remember what the term is called in Enfield, that you can use there too. That's like totally viable. And for a lot of them, the battle pass weapon has been fairly close for the characters too. Like, and like for most characters, like maybe for DPS units, because you're really trying to maximize your DPS output, getting their like signature weapon is probably like pretty important. I would say from like what I've seen so far. But a lot of the support characters like can get by on like a lot of the battle pass weapons or some of the other even like standard 5-star weapons. Like I think Pog's best in slot is still Thermite Cutter or something like that. Like it's even with everything that's gone on. Like so like there are options, like which lends itself to like I think overall what I like about the game is like the versatility in the game in terms of its like team building, like when you're actually like playing, like the combinations that you can use. Like I really like Wuthering Waves, but what almost always inevitably ends up happening when a new character comes out is it turns into, here's the character, here's their optimal team, here's their rotation. If you don't do this rotation, you're going to struggle in the tower and you're going to struggle in all the end game, like unless you're doing the rotation specifically and everybody's perfectly built, because it just becomes like for a lot of them, maybe not the holograms, but like just the other like end game content, it's just like a DPS check to make sure you're doing your rotations correctly for like making things happen. Whereas like Enfield, I feel like there's less of a requirement for needing to do your rotation like
you
absolutely
can mess up
properly,
and you
unless you really
reset.
And you don't like you don't need your damage per screenshot. Like, can you do that? Yes. Like you can do some setups with Arcane that are insane, like damage per screenshot, but it doesn't even matter. Like you can do that. You can have the versatility. You can jump around, and everything is like totally been clearable and do that. With maybe the exception of like contingency contract, which usually has much more factors, and that part is difficult. But that's an aside. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. Is there cicadas going on in the background for you, Ryuku? I gotta ask.
Yes, there are.
Am I doing
They're very loud.
Shit.
They're so loud. Like you were doing when you were doing that whole explanation there. I was like,
they're like
cicadas?
a good 100 meters away from me, and they're still loud as shit.
That's crazy. That's so loud.
That's actually insane.
Well, it's what happens when you live in the countryside. I mean, have you seen the pictures of where I live? I don't
live in Japan, by the way. I don't know if you guys know.
All right, it's been a great podcast, everybody else. See you later.
Now, speaking of that, I think it is actually a good.
You guys know Ryuku lives in Japan?
This is actually a probably a good moment to round up. Are there any like final thoughts that you want to give about 1.4, the gameplay story, anything? What you're looking forward to? How you feeling?
I'm looking forward to.
Oh, I want. Oh, sorry. You go. You go.
Because I'm looking forward to the proxy. I want to see more of the proxy.
We didn't really speak about her. She's so intriguing.
Yeah.
She seems so powerful, and so like I kind of know everything a little bit. She does way more than I think a lot of other characters we've come into contact with, and she's very cool.
That area, that like platforming, like pathway area where you're activating the pillars, was one of my favorite parts of the story because I found it so like unique with the bridges.
Oh, can I just talk about one thing? I guess this is not just 1.4, but like Arknights Endfield in general, because like there is no like free form travel. Like it is linear. There is like invisible walls. They set up scenes knowing how you're going to enter a certain position. Like everything's laid out. And because of that, when you get introduced to an area, it's all intentional. Everything's made with intention. And I actually really like that. Like I don't mind that I can't climb over everything. I don't mind that I don't have a bike going over because going through the area feels intentional. It feels with purpose, like a traditional platform or linear story. And I really like that.
It does.
I really, really like that. I don't see a problem with it at all. And I think it's visually, the devs and the artists can be like, I know how I want this area to look. I know exactly what the player's going to see when they go through it and how they're going to walk through an area. I don't know. I just think it's cool, personally.
No, you touched on exactly what I was going to say at the end here for like just like a last thing that like I really like about it is I love their set pieces in the regions that they create, like to like really like bring you through that experience, like that it feels like the region is unfolding before you. Love that. I don't need super open world. Same. Like I love that they unpack all of that.
It's more sandbox platformer style that I like.
Yeah, it's close to that. But the one other thing about 1.4 that I really like that I can't remember if it was 1.3 or one of the other patches, but when you finish 1.4, I feel like there's still so much more to explore. Like there's a bunch of like still like fogged over regions that I'm like trying to figure out like what's going to be next, and there's going to be some other like world quest stuff that's going in that I'm excited to still go back and play. Where I can't remember which patch was specifically. It might have been 1.2 or 1.1, 1.1, maybe even. Or like 1.3, one of the two patches, if while you were doing the story, you were kind of just doing some light exploring along with it, by the time you finished the story, like you'd basically done all the exploration. Like there was maybe a couple hidden like Orlean and like chests, but like you had done everything. That's not the case with 1.4. There's still a ton to do, and I'm like stoked about that to go back and
you love exploration.
Farm that out.
You do exploration with everything almost.
I do. I often end up 100%ing exploration as long as there's like methods of tracking. If it's like just like freeform, like you just have to find everything, I hate that. But if it's like you can use tools and stuff to help you like collect it, like I have a great time with that.
Oh yeah, awesome.
One thing I'm looking forward to that I really hope they bring from the original Arknights is integrated strategies in game mode, which is kind of like a roguelike type thing. I think they tried it with edge-based salvage. It's not exactly the same. I hope they bring that in.
I like edge-based.
I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it. A lot of people hate it because it's just like getting in there. It needed a bit of tweaking, but I think they can expand on that to make it a lot more like integrated strategies.
That's not a roguelike. That's more like extraction. That's like an extraction.
It is
mode, more like
I
actually like it too personally.
It's like I think that's what they were trying to. They was trying to get a different thing for Enfield than integrated strategies, but I'm like, no, just bring integrated strategies. So it's like a completely different story each time, and I thought it was really, really interesting, really fun. But that's the only thing I can really like say I want to look forward to coming from in future patches. So we can look forward to that, I think.
Awesome. Amethyst, any final thoughts?
No.
Great. Also, well, thank you all for joining today. This is a really good discussion. This is a very nerdy conversation. It was great. I very much enjoyed it.
It went from Enfield to just Arknights lore, the podcast.
It did.
You're welcome.
I find it interesting. I love lore and world building, so I'm always excited to hear more lore about like the other games too, which is awesome.
I came away from it with a new anime to watch, so I'm happy.
No, like legit, we're all gonna be watching now. Arknights anime. So
enjoy.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure to go to subscribe to everybody who you'll be able to hear in the description, whatever. Click on everyone. Go say hello. Go watch the streams. All that good stuff. Go watch the videos. I appreciate y'all. Go play Arknights 1.4. It's worth it. And if you haven't yet, if you are someone who picked it up in 1.0 and you dropped it because you thought the story was rough, I'm telling you, you can play it just for the story. You can play just for the story if you want to, and you'll have a good time. So go for it. I appreciate y'all. See you later. Peace.
Ooh, woo.